Hello, this is Annalisa from Faith Dream Create, and welcome back to my channel. You're watching my fall card series for 2023. In today's video, I'm going to be creating a card with this stamp set from Colorado Craft Company. This is the Anita Jaram Lift You Higher stamp set with the kitties, so the cats playing on a wooden swing on the trees, pushing each other, having fun. So I turned this stamp set into a fall themed card and chose to color the leaves in the fun, beautiful fall colors. So you're going to see that as we go on with the card. But first, I'm going to stamp out this image using my stamping platform and some Memento Tuxedo black ink, because I'm going to color these in with Spectrum Near markers. And anytime you are using alcohol-based ink, you want something that is not going to react with that when you are stamping. So Memento Tuxedo black ink is great for that, and there is other ones on the market as well, but that is what I've always used and that is what I love to use. So getting this stamped out, and then we will go ahead and do the coloring and make a fall scene. If you have been watching my channel for a while, I have mentioned on my channel that my kids really like cats. So when I saw this stamp set come out, and there was a few other kitty stamp sets as well, and there was a few recently as well with like cats and dogs, I believe. So I picked up 3 of these cute cat themed images from Anita Jaram. She is the one who wrote the book Guess How Much I Love You, or didn't write the book, but she illustrated for it. I'm not sure if she wrote the book. I think she's just the illustrator, but I am not entirely sure. But if you know that book, the children's book Guess How Much I Love You, she illustrates that. So these images, some of them just speak to my heart because I grew up reading that book, and now I'm able to read it to my kiddos. So it's just fun, and I have been collecting a few of her stamp sets here and there. Not all of them because there is so many, but I've picked up a few and I'm loving working with them. So now I'm starting to bring in the fall colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and add that to the leaves and create a fall scene. You could definitely do like a springtime scene with this. You could probably even do a winter scene, but it might be hard with the leaves. I even go and add leaves of my own. I draw them in so that you can see the leaves coming down, and it just adds to the mood of the fall season. So I will have all of the supplies that I'm using linked down below in the description box. If you want to get a closer look at them or grab them yourself, you can go ahead, check them out, get a closer look at the sentiments and details of the stamp. While we are coloring this in, I'll just quickly read the sentiments from this stamp set. So it has friends by choice, we, because the cat is pushing the other cat and they're having too much fun, siblings by birth, and the sentiment that I'm going to end up using is surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher, Oprah Winfrey. So this card or this stamp set could be used for multiple different things. Friendship cards, a card for a brother or sister, and an encouragement card. But you could theme it for any occasion. Thank you, birthday. Me, I just switched it into a fall scene, and I'm making it work for fall to give to somebody during this fall season, during autumn. So I've colored this in, and now I'm just going back in with the white Shakira pen here to add in some highlights, and then I'm using the Tim Holtz paper cutter to trim this out. Now I did not want to have a white background. I wanted the sky. So I'm going to come back in with first fixing the grass, but then I'm going to use the Tim Holtz watercolor pencils to come in with blue to add to the sky. But first, you can see I was outlining some of the areas to bring the coloring back to life, because sometimes when you color, especially in dark, you lose some of the lines. So I brought the lines back, and now I'm adding in my own leaves and then coloring those in. I was mentioning that. So just simple shapes. It didn't need to be super detailed, and then adding those fall colors in again. And then here are those watercolor pencils from Tim Holtz. I just chose a blue one, and I'm just adding it in, and then I'm going to come back in with the Tim Holtz watercolor brush and blend that in. And this is a great way to add in that sky, and it also gives you that watercolory, wet, rainy season vibe. Definitely be careful because you are using Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I was also using the pen, so I tried to stay away from the lines as much as possible and just stay in the open areas. You could use a watercolor based ink if you knew you were going to do this, but I was just creating as I went, and this is what I came up with, so I was just careful. But that is a tip for you. If you knew you were going to add the watercoloring in, you could definitely use a watercolor based ink when you were doing the stamping. So now I'm adding a black border around this image, and I'm still using my school glue when I created this video. It was my experiment. It works, but it's messy and it makes the paper kind of warpy and thick, and it doesn't stay as flat as other glues that are on the crafting market. So I have switched back to Bearly Art glue. I had ran out, or it was really clogged up, so I tried to use a different glue before I unclogged it and bought some new ones. But that is that. Use what glue you love, and yeah. So then we stamped the sentiment on black, and then I'm using the Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder. I used the Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink to do this, and then I'm heat setting that. A great tip is to use the anti-static tool so that your embossing powder only sticks to the places that you want it to. I do have one, but my craft desk is a disaster and I cannot find it. So I need to clean off my desk and find that tool, because it comes in handy so much and it works so well, especially when you are stamping on black and using the embossing powder. But yeah, there's that. Then I just went ahead and cut out that sentiment, cut around it so that it stands out and that it is the sentiment white embossed on black, and it looks really fun just sitting here underneath this image. So I glued the kitties to the card base here, and then I'm gluing the sentiment. I love how the black in the border and then the black and white of the sentiment just stands out and goes together. So I find that with the school glue as well, if you do want to go ahead and try it, that I needed to use my stamping block to just hold the different pieces down, and then add different bits of glue here and there to get it to adhere. It didn't want to adhere quickly, and yeah, it was a bit oozy. So then I'm just adding some Memento Tuxedo black ink around the edges, inking it up, smooshing it on directly from the ink pad to add to that black and bring in some more interest. I used to do this all the time, and I really like how it looks. It gives it a vintage vibe, brings in a little bit more of that black, and just adds a fun element to the card. And then I felt like it still needed a little bit more, so I'm using some pops of color from scrapbook.com, and I'm adding in the fall colors. So the orange, the red, and the yellow, the colors that I used on the leaves, and I'm adding it all over the card in the white area, definitely leaving some white too, and then I'm going to flick those to make them flatter, the dots flatter. And then I decided to come in here as well in a few spots. I really like how it's still simple, but you're bringing the colors from the image out and onto the other parts of the card, but you still get that glimpse of white and simplicity, and you also get a 3D effect with the pops of color. And when you touch it, it's raised, and it's fun. It's a fun element to add the finishing touches to the card. So flicked those dots, made them flat, and that's going to finish up today's card. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be sharing more fall cards throughout the month of September and October, and then we'll dive into Christmas cards. So definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload the next fall card, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.